Did send me an intro.
I
Just
did.
wanna Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. So Nadine, you are a legal recruiter, although that wasn't the path you started off on.
No, it wasn't.
So, oh, hold on. I'm just gonna try to pull up you did send me a bio. I'm sorry. Let me pull it
Okay,
up.
I can read it off.
Oh,
I
okay.
am a legal recruiter with Major Lindsey in Africa. We are the premier legal recruiting agency here in America, but we do have offices in the UK, Singapore, and Australia also. We help attorneys, associates, partners, and contract attorneys find work. Also in-house counsel. I am an internal recruiter for Major Lindsey in Africa, which means that I recruit the recruiters. So I go looking for people who do not want to practice law any further or never wanted to practice law but have a law degree and would like to leverage their legal networks and their legal expertise and experience and becoming a recruiter, helping other attorneys lateral from one firm or one law department to another. A little about me. My undergrad is at Cornell in labor relations. That's where I got my first bite at the HR recruiter bug and fell in love with that. And then I went to Georgetown for law school, took the New York bar, passed it, and then never practiced. Never practiced. I tell that to people, and it's true and untrue because I did a misdemeanor clinic at school, so I practiced in that way, and I did some law clerking as well. But as far as being sworn in, I never got sworn in. Brings me to the time of being a legal recruiter. So I'm not only going to impart my knowledge today, but I will also share with the different recruiters that I spoke to. I spoke to about 5 different recruiters in our offices across the nation, and they gave me some really great things. So first off, your LLM helps you demonstrate your expertise. So you chose to get this LLM in a specific area of law, and that is now your niche. That is now your practice area. And what we found as recruiters is that the most beneficial LLMs tend to be the tax or Avesta LLMs. We found that people find it easier to parlay those LLMs into a lawyering job. One of my recruiters did let me know. She sits in Georgia and says, hey, every state is different. Some states won't allow anyone without an ABA JD to even sit for the bar. What's the workaround? The workaround could be getting a high enough UBE score and practicing for some time and then being able to weigh in at a later date. So because I told you I have this JD and I've never practiced, I like to tell people that there's so many things that you can do with these law degrees, including but not limited to working at Deloitte or KPMG as a consultant, becoming a patent agent if you have one of those hard science backgrounds, teaching positions. My first job out of law school was as a federal mediator, so becoming an arbitrator, or mediator, or fact finder with either the local courts, the Federal Mediation and Conciliation Service, also known as FMCS, the Judicial Arbitration and Mediation Service, also known as AMS, and the American Arbitration Association, that's the AAA. Also sports agents, legal recruiting, or even lobbying. But if you dead set on wanting to be a lawyer, what I was told is that you got to make this your job. Take a recruiter's mindset. So what does that mean? I probably will go through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of LinkedIn profiles and reach out to 200 to 300 different people as a cold initial contact to get maybe 30 to respond to me that way, to fill one job. This recruiter, and I'm internal, so this recruiter told me that you should expect to make 4,000 cold calls or cold contacts. So what's a cold call or cold contact? That doesn't just mean the LinkedIn messages. It doesn't just mean picking up the phone and calling a stranger. It has, everybody else has talked about networking. It means going out networking and touching people. talking to them about what they do. If you know anything about lawyers, they love talking about themselves. And that's probably your way in. Allow somebody to get comfortable enough where they're sharing things with you. And that's how you get to learn things about them. And then you can start asking questions.
So I have a question about this. So if I said to you, you know what, I just want to help people get jobs. I'm getting my law degree, but you know what? I think I just want to go into some sort of labor, employment law type thing. I don't see myself as practicing, but I've got really good people skills, and I think it's something I could be interested in, but I don't know that I have all the right skills for it. So if in a situation like that, then
Angela, you're already a recruiter. You recruited me and every single speaker here.
oh yeah, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, so, and when I look for recruiters when I look for attorneys, or 80% of our recruiters are attorneys. When I look for people that are going to recruit that have never recruited before, I try to find people like yourself that have recruited but never thought about it. Maybe you worked the Barbary table while you were in law school and you recruited students to sign up for Barbary. Well, maybe you were part of um, a new student group that you recruited students to join. There's more than one way to recruit. So I look for transferable skills when I'm talking to recruiters.
Okay. Okay. Right. I never even thought of it like that.
Yeah, maybe you were part of a sorority or fraternity or a business association and you recruited new members. That's all recruiting. What I need to know is that you're not afraid to talk to strangers and you're okay with rejection.
I'm yeah. For me, so people generally don't know this, but I'm an introvert. And so I'm always pushing out of my shell.
Yeah.
And my best moments really were when I was doing my bar study and my parents would have the kids for the weekend, my husband would be out working, I would be home and I'd be like, oh, the quiet. But for an introvert, I'm on the extroverted side of being an introvert. So I'm good at talking with people. And I mean, no one likes rejection, but like that Chumbawamba song, I get knocked down, I get back up again.
Right. I like to tell people to fail forward. You can't be successful without failures. So take each failure as a learning experience. Okay, what did I do well here? What didn't I do well here? What can I learn from this moving forward?
Awesome.
So then we start talking about how to leverage your uniqueness and your language skills or diversity status. There's this thing, it's called the Posse List, POSSELIST. It's a newsletter that you can sign up for, and it will send you information of legal jobs, interim and permanent legal jobs in different jurisdictions. I see all the time foreign language attorneys needed. They're paying $90 to $120 an hour for you to help them review documents or help them translate different things. That's one way to leverage your multilingual skills. And there's a lot of times the languages that I see are German, Yiddish, French. I, I, every I've seen so many different ones. Mandarin probably pays the highest. You can also find contract to perm roles. So because there's this hurdle to cross, sometimes the best way to get into a law firm or even a law department is by becoming a temporary attorney there. Their
Yeah.
temporary job allows you to go there and show them what you can do. Show them that you have what it takes to be a permanent full-time employee. By leveraging your temporary status and networking while you're there, because you can't just put your nose in the book like when you were law school. You have to be able to network and speak to the people that you're working with and use that as a pathway into full-time employment.
So I'm on that list. My only complaint about the list is that about 90% of the jobs I see, you have to have passed the bar. So if you haven't passed the bar, it's not as useful to you as it would be post bar.
Very true. They do have law clerk and paralegal positions, and I will note that when they ask for a foreign language skills attorney, they never require a law. They never require a bar for that. So I want to share my screen because I want to show you a tip
Sure.
that I think could be helpful with your networking and using LinkedIn. Can you guys see my screen?
No, hold on. Do you have wait, let me
It
see.
says host disabled participant screen sharing.
I cannot see your screen.
It says it's disabled by you.
Oh, okay. Let me, um, oh, I see. Got it.
So the speakers earlier talked about when you're networking to try to find something that you have in common with the people that you're
Okay.
speaking with. So
You should be able to share now. I just
one of
changed
my
this.
favorite things to do when I'm searching for what we call a passive candidate is to find someone I know. This is one of my colleagues out in the UK, and scroll their page and either look for their past employers or I'll go to their education. Here we can look at he went to BPP Law School. I'll click there. From there, I'll click on alumni.
I'm sorry, can you,
I can go back.
I've enabled it so you could share the screen. So could you try it again so we can,
Oh, it
Just
says
sharing.
screen
oh,
share.
sharing? Okay, I'm sorry.
Guys, see or no?
Sorry, I've got my three monitors and I think it's on another.
I'm going to start from the top. So just a profile of someone I know that went to law school
Okay.
outside of the United States. So I'll scroll down to his education and I will click on the hyperlink that will take me directly to his LinkedIn school's profile. From there, I can click on alumni. And from there, I can add, let's say, New York. Now I have 232 alumni that are all LLM students that work in the law field in New York, from associates to negotiators at Bloomberg, counsel at Clifford Chance, things of this nature. These are people that I would now connect with. These are people that I would connect with. I would, how I network, before I go for the ask and jump in somebody's inbox, I would make sure I engage with them on their posts. What are they posting about? I would share, I would like, I would comment. And then I would take it from there and say, hey, I really like what you had to say, like how Carolina spoke about LLMs. I really liked what you had to say about LLMs. I am going through this, and that, and I found it helpful in this way. Is there a possibility that I can get maybe 15 minutes of your time for a virtual coffee sometime in the next couple of weeks? And that's how I would go from there. So networking definitely is going to be the catapult into, especially here in America. Networking is what they say, it's not what you know and who you know. I had a professor that says it's not whose number you have, it's who will answer your phone calls. So it's really about building those strengths there. One more thing he said. He said, stay focused on the process and don't attach yourself to an outcome. Celebrate every micro accomplishment while you're job hunting. You're also building your network. So, okay, this person wasn't able to speak to you for the next month, but they accepted your LinkedIn request. Now their network is a part of your network. So when you're posting and seeing things, and when you're trying to connect with others, they will be more likely to accept your connection request because they see that somebody that they're connected to on a first network connection basis has accepted you. That's a win. If you can get somebody to do a virtual coffee with you, that's the win. It's that somebody offers to look over your resume and critique it for you. That's the win. Somebody says, hey, we are looking for a staff attorney for 6 months. Let's see if we can get you an interview. That's the win, whether you get the job or you don't get the job. So while you're going through and dealing with rejection, remember to count your wins as well.
Thank you so much. I have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
So I want to thank you for opening, like, this is a field that I never thought about, like, because I think when you go through law school, even as an LLM, there's still this big law dialogue that's being pushed, like, like, I guess the law schools measure their success in terms of how many people have gotten jobs in big law. So you don't hear as much about JD Advantage type jobs. So in how do you think the market currently is in like the you're in DC, right?
I'm in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Oh, I'm in Philadelphia.
Oh, we gotta have lunch sometime. Coffee
For sure.
sometime.
Why didn't I realize you were in Philadelphia? Okay. So, all right. So for me, I have found the Philly, just speaking generally for law, I found the Philly market as an LLM tough, but I've also found that I haven't researched firms as much as I should have, and I really want to emphasize people to do their research on their firms, um, because one of the firms that interviewed me had a partner who represented a particular politician who may or may not be arrested tomorrow. And my personal point of view was directly opposite of that. And I'm like, I do want a job badly, but do I want a job badly enough to work for that attorney? No. Turns out they didn't want me anyhow. But I should have researched that more. But I'm finding
I've
the
gone
Philly
through it
market.
myself. I actually sent in an acceptance for a job for the Heritage Foundation, not knowing who they were, and researched afterwards and said, "Oh no, thank you. I apologize. Thank you, no, thank you." So definitely research.
So yeah, so what are your for the Philly market, what are your tips? Because Philly, I know, is very heavily pharma and a little bit of tech, which is a little bit different than other parts of the United States.
I want to remind you that I'm an internal recruiter, so I don't
Okay.
associates or the lawyers moving from one law firm to another. I steal people from their law firms and make them recruiters.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Um, Thank you so much for spending the time. I do want to reach out to you separately, because my clerkship is going to be in Philadelphia, and I would love to like just have a lunch with you and just chat.
Very open to it, and anybody can find me on LinkedIn. I am Nadene Reid there, and I will tell you that my first legal job I got from LinkedIn. And how did I get that? I went and joined a LinkedIn group for my alumni association for my undergrad and said, "Hey, I'm a 1L," was my 1L year, and my first year in law school, and I'm looking for summer work, and this is my background. I'd like to do labor and employment law. And one of the alumni from my school was a partner at a New York City labor boutique firm, and that's how I got my first job. So definitely join the LinkedIn groups, reach out to people, add value. When people know that you add value without wanting anything in return, they're more likely to give you things. You guys have a good evening.
Thank you so much.